show you some of my favorite palettes for fall and winter season. But before I get into that, I wanted to just point out the obvious. I am filming in a different room today. This is the spare bedroom. There aren't any pictures or anything up on the wall, so it's going to be kind of echoey in here. All I have is a dresser and a bed, so there's nothing really to absorb the sound. So if it annoys you, I apologize, but the lighting is so much better in here. And once I get some more furniture in here and decorate it a little bit, the echo problem will go away. Also, my son decided that he wanted to take a shower, so you may hear the shower in the background and him occasionally singing. Okay, so let's get on to my fall favorites. Well, my favorite fall eyeshadow palettes. Now, some of you may know this about me, some of you may not. I don't really wear my makeup specific to the season, which means that I will wear dark colors in the summer, I will wear lighter colors in the fall and winter. I just wear whatever strikes me that day. But if I was to choose palettes specific for fall, the ones that I'm about to show you are what I would pick from. So the first one here is this Baked Browns palette from Dose of Colors. I really like this palette a lot. This is very fall. If you are into matte finishes and these types of colors, this might be something that you check out. It is gorgeous and definitely something that I reach for quite a bit. This next palette I really like, and it's very inexpensive. The Dose of Colors, I believe, is right around $30 or $32. I can't really remember. But this one here is from Juvia's Place. It's the Nubian palette. It's a really pretty palette. It has beautiful colors in it. There are shimmers and mattes in here. But this is a gorgeous palette. Definitely everything that you would need to create a beautiful fall look, and especially if you're into those sort of gold shades or even cranberries or somewhere in between, this palette really does have everything that you would need. The eyeshadows are very soft. It doesn't take much to pick up color, so it's definitely something that I like about this palette. Lately I have been applying eyeshadow. Look at that. Gorgeous, right? I've been applying eyeshadows a lot lately with my fingers, which I never used to do. This palette is awesome if you like to use your fingers. This next palette is new to me, as well as to many of you. It is the Huda. It's the Huda Beauty. My hair keeps getting stuck on these earrings. Oh, let me show you guys my earrings before I forget. See that? Michael Myers. I figured, why not? Halloween is almost here, right? Okay, so Huda Beauty, this palette is amazing. I don't understand. I posted this palette on my Instagram, and I got sort of like mixed comments on it, and I don't understand why. I feel like what's happening is people are becoming more and more picky. If a new palette comes out and it doesn't absolutely wow them, it's just sort of eh. But if this palette would have come out 5 years ago, I mean, people would have been going gaga over this. So to me, this is a beautiful palette. This palette also screams fall. This has a great array of colors, matte finishes, different textures. There are 8 mattes, 6 pressed pearls, 3 duochromes, and 1 glitter. And the glitter is beautiful. The glitter is right here. I have used it several times. But this palette really creates an array of looks, and I just don't understand how anyone could have any issue with this. The mattes go on nice. They're nicely pigmented. They blend well. The shimmer shades are just gorgeous. Like, I find myself reaching for this palette quite a bit. Alright, the next 2 palettes that I'm going to show you are from Morphe. I am not a big fan of Morphe. I feel like their eyeshadows are hit or miss. Sometimes they're awesome, sometimes they're just crap. You know, it's kind of like the chance that you take when you buy a full palette like this. But for the price, it's worth it. If you come across a dot every once in a while, it's really not that big a deal. I feel like in some of these palettes, there are repeat colors. So if one of them's not good, just look for the next closest color, right? So the first one I'm going to show you is the 35F. This is the Fall into Frost palette. This is a gorgeous palette. If you like those sort of rich jewel tones, if you don't mind shimmer, you're gonna love this palette. These are the colors here. I actually wanted to use this today, but the other one was calling my name. What's nice about this palette is this whole bottom row here are matte finishes, and the rest are shimmer shades. I haven't even used a quarter of the shades in this palette, but I will show you here. I'm just gonna run my finger right across one. The pigmentation is awesome. The colors are super soft. It doesn't take much to build up on your eyes. So this palette I definitely recommend if you'd like a nice sort of overall fall palette. And then the other one is the 35O. Do you guys remember when this palette launched? Everybody and their mother and brother and aunt and uncle had one of these palettes, and it took like 6 months. 6 to 9 months or something crazy like that just to even get your hands on it. I resisted for a long time. I bypassed all the hype. It took me a really long time before I made the decision to order this palette. It didn't have anything to do with price, but it had a lot to do with the fact that there were so many people that were going gaga over it, and I tend to sort of go against the grain when it comes to hype, usually. And then eventually I end up caving in. So here it is. Beautiful palette, great for fall, nice warm tones, those nice orangey warm tones that I love, that most everybody loves for fall. There's a nice mix of matte and shimmers in this palette. The colors are nicely pigmented. These two palettes I have the least trouble with as far as like building color up, powder kick up, pigmentation. These two are just top notch in my opinion. Price is right. They're in stock all the time now, so you really shouldn't have an issue being able to pick these up. Just like the other palette, well, let's swatch this one because this one is probably my favorite in the palette. Again, pigmentation is definitely not an issue. Take a look at that. Absolutely gorgeous. I love that I can also pick colors out of this palette to fill my eyebrows in as well. So of Morphe, these two I would definitely recommend. I only have 4 Morphe palettes. I have the taupe palette and the purple. Those two are but these two, in my opinion, are top-notch. All right, next up is the I Said Yes palette from Pinky Rose. Really nice brand. Haven't had any issues with this palette whatsoever. I think that this is a great palette for fall as well. Absolutely gorgeous shades. This also has a nice mix of shimmer and mattes. These two colors here, they're amazing. I've used them quite a few times, no issues. Pigmentation is on point, not a lot of powder kick up, doesn't take a lot to build the color up. And what's nice is this palette, I believe, was $26 or $27, and this is always available. So I think this is great if you want to kind of play around with different colors, purples, some rose golds in there. There's this beautiful gold here down on the bottom. So I feel like this is a great universal palette as far as color selection goes. All right, next up, this palette. This little palette right here caused a lot of angst in many people. It prevented me from buying this palette because so many people hated it, had such a hard time working with it. I guess there was too much powder kick up. Somebody claimed that they put their brush in the palette and went to pick up color and they hit pan, which is ridiculous. Like, I don't understand how that happened. Anyway, I have not had any issues with this palette. I've used it twice now. I really like it. I think it's a great fall palette. I mean, get a look at these colors here. It is gorgeous. Now, I did do the same look twice, which is why the other colors have no marks in them whatsoever. But I used this in a get ready with me with my friend Sarah, and I had no issues with this palette. She actually really liked the palette too. I'm not quite sure if maybe Anastasia changed something with their formulation because so many people were complaining. I have no idea. But as far as me and my opinion, this is a great palette. Awesome for fall. You can do a variety of looks. There are a nice range of colors and finishes. Actually most of the eyeshadows in here are matte. So if you're more of a matte person and you like to kind of play around with shimmer every once in a while, this might actually be a great palette for you, especially if you're the kind of person that doesn't like palettes that have 30 eyeshadows in them. I know sometimes the more eyeshadows there are in a palette, the more confusing it can be, the less likely you are to use that palette because you don't even know where to begin. So maybe picking up a palette like this that doesn't have quite as many colors in it would be something for those of you that don't like to mess around with too much. I know sometimes I can feel sort of overwhelmed when I open up a new palette and there's like 500 eyeshadows in it. So Subculture is definitely a thumbs up in my book. Alright, this next palette, this isn't going to come as a surprise to any of you because I have gone on and on about this palette. This is definitely, of everything that I use for fall at the very top of my list, the Urban Decay Naked Heat palette. My friend Beth actually got this palette for me for my birthday, so thank you again, because honestly, this is another one of those where I was like, do I need that? I'm not quite sure if I need that. I do like the colors, but, so thank you. Thank you, Beth, again. All right, so Naked Heat, amazing. I adore this palette. I use it all the time, actually. You'll probably be able to tell which shades I use the most. So here it is. This is a gorgeous palette. I have used every eyeshadow in here except for this guy here, and that one is coming up shortly. I decided that I want to give that eyeshadow a go. What's funny is usually when I buy an eyeshadow palette, there are several shades that just don't really appeal to me, so I don't use them, or I don't use them as often, but this palette I have used everything except for Ember. But if you're anything like me and you're into those sort of, you know, reddish tones, rose golds, definitely look into this palette. It's a little bit on the pricey side, it's $54, but you do get quite a selection of eyeshadows, and everything is complementary to each other, so you can sort of mix and match and play around, and your look will come out fabulous. Alrighty, next up is this palette here from NYX. This is the NYX Ultimate Warm Neutrals palette. This is beautiful. It's a great palette. Nice pigmentation, not a lot of powder kick up. Nice array of colors for fall. You can do a wide range of looks with this palette. I have heard people compare the Naked Heat to the Warm Neutrals palette. I actually saw swatches. Someone did swatches and posted them online. If you're interested in seeing those, just Google it. Something will come up. What's nice about this is you can use the coupons. So Ulta has the $3.50 off. I believe it's $15. You can use it on your NYX. NYX also almost always does sales where you buy one, get one 50% off. So give that palette a look. A lot of Ultas now have tester palettes, so you can actually go and take a look at it before you buy it. And then the last palette I'm going to show you, and this one was kind of like I'm not sure if this would be awesome for fall or not. Because for me, like I said earlier, I'm not really a season kind of person when it comes to my eyeshadows. I just wear what I like no matter, you know, what season it is. But this has been the go-to for me, and I really like this palette a lot, and it is perfect for fall, so I'm throwing it in there. It is the first Huda Beauty palette, the Rose Gold palette. This has been, I cleaned all my palettes up before I made the video, so if they look too clean, that's why. But this has been a go-to for me. I reach for this palette a lot, especially for these two colors here. Most of my looks that I do, actually as of late, are the more orangey reddish tones, and so these two are just perfect together in the crease and in the outer V. But these eyeshadows here, they are beautiful. You can apply them with your finger, and I would recommend using your finger because of the texture. You can take a little drop of some kind of oil. Sometimes I'll use argan oil. Just a little drop in the corner, run my finger through it and apply that to my eyelid, and it is absolutely gorgeous. Now, I know I said that everything was still available, and I just remembered. I think this palette is not going to be offered anymore. Now, I did see this on their website, the Huda website, as of late, and I believe on Sephora as well. So if you haven't bought this palette, I wouldn't wait too long to get it because she's not going to be offering it much longer. So if you've kind of been on the fence about it, just do it. You won't regret it. Alrighty guys, so that is it for my video today. I hope that you like my selection of palettes for fall. If there's something that you're using that you think I would like, please leave that down in the comments below. So that is it. Thank you guys so much for hanging out with me today. Have a great day, and I will see you all again very soon. Bye.